And welcome back to the channel. Today's video we'll look at the ecoworthy wall-mounted battery. Oh yeah, let's get started. You guessed it right, we have a new battery here. It's the wall-mounted ecoworthy 51.2 volt 100 amp hour battery. And the nice part about this one is it's wall-mounted. So here's the information. It does come in two packages. And here you can see I did already screw in the bolts. I did already put in those covers. There are 4 of them. We have a bunch of more information here. And there's a second package, which does actually include a 100 amp hour wall mount indoor conduit box. This is so cool. Everything included, 10-year limited warranty. That is new. Haven't seen this one. Then we have a user companion software guide, and here you see the full battery, which we'll be assembling. Then we have a pretty thick user manual. Oh wow, it does actually have very detailed information here. That is new to me. Very cool. And then we have benefits of lithium battery with sheet metal casing. Interesting. They do include that as well. Alright, with this battery you can see we have the specifications here on this page. That's nice to see. It is in terms of size, the pictures, drawings up there, because that's what we'll need for mounting it. And then we have the rated voltage, rated capacity, those kind of things, as well as the dimensions, weight, and written again. Then what's important, standard charge current and max charge current, as well as the standard discharge and the max discharge current up there. And of course it can communicate between it has multiple communication ports, which you can see here, RS485, VE.Can, and RS232, and you can put up to 32 of this wall-mounted unit up in parallel. That's very cool. And then you can use those parallel connectors, and there's always one cable included to parallel connect with another unit. Then we have some cell voltage protection here. And by the way, on this page 11 you can see the packing list, and you can see package 1, package 2. So this is what is package 1. We'll use the included cables. We'll not have to use the communication cable they included. I will use most likely the Victron one. And then we have a conduit box to make it nice and neat. And the next package is the screen operation and the screen operation. So interesting about it. So here's a power button, push power button. And you would think there's some kind of display available. It's not available. No display turning on. It will turn on only when the breaker is flipped to the on position, and then it turns on. And what you can see here, it's testing itself. It's telling the status over here. We have a run light illuminating, blinking, and then we have the information of the display here. And you can change this language over here somewhere on the side. You don't have to do that. You can change the protocol over here. Also very nice. And what else do we have? I have no idea what else we have here, because I have to read through that a little bit as well. But it looks like here we can see the cells itself. You click on the cell and then you see the cell information. And then you see down here the other cells. But you have to go back and then say cell 2. Interesting, I can't. It looks like you can only click on one. Maybe I'll figure it out later. One thing we have to change later is here click read. So it's pulling the information it's set to, and then it's changing those protocols. So we'll do that later, because I need to go through that information. One other thing I want to point out here, specification wise, reset button over here. I have to double check what that is for. We have the dip switches for the up to 32 in parallel units you can have, and there is on page 18 the dip switches, how you have to configure them, that you can connect all your up to 32 units. And then on page 19 you have more information about the pin diagram, etc., in case you want to build your own communication cable. And then it goes in standby and you have to wake it up. There it is. Alright, let me show you around of this unit really quick. So on top you can see the unit itself, of course, going all the way down here. I have the feet already installed. That was pretty easy to do. On the side you have this handle you can use. On the back you do have those bracket pre-installed. So here it's not real, but we have this bracket which latches in, so it means you just hook it in, and on the side you can see that they are angled, so That's how you mount it into the bracket when it's installed in the wall. And on the other side you have a breaker, another handle, and you have this serial number and model information of this battery. So for this one, I turned off the battery again. You have this conduit box you can easily connect. It has a mechanism over here, has 4 bolts going in from the inside, and then you just can close it and it's kind of nice and neat, protected, right? Looks pretty good. You do have, for this one, you do have a bunch of those wire protectors and pre-cut or not pre-cut wires which you can go out and in, and these on the side you have to cut in yourself, but it makes it very nice and neat and protected as well for all the wires you have. So next we'll open up the battery to see what it looks like inside. Alright, here we are. We have for the display a lot of glue over here for the other LED display here, a lot of glue here and here, a lot of glue in general. And we have for the breaker itself, just this one, we have a nice thick bus bar, looks like, and this connector doesn't feel flexible too much. We have a big BMS over here. We do have down here some kind of information. Let me try to take a picture. So maybe it worked. We do, looks like a temperature sensor over here, and we have some kind of protective something here for the cells. And it looks like here are the cells. You can see the bus bars have a nice thick hum, and then we have a lot of steel brackets over here. So this is the entire battery cells underneath. But it looks like everything's screwed, at least the balance leads, cables, looks like temperature sensor, it's over here somewhere. Yep. But in general, it's laser welded on the terminals itself, but everything else is with screws. This is the only screw I see some marks, but they are off from actually where it should be. I don't know if you see that, the marking on here and the nut itself is pretty solid still. And we have the terminals up here. They have another connection similar like this one on the other side, and the interconnect in the middle with another, what is that, positive probably lead. Yeah, going over here it looks like, is that the one? Yeah, it goes into the bus bar and the BMS, and then we have the negative over here going in here, and on the other side goes into the battery, which is here in the cells. Wow. Alright, so quite a lot, but yeah, that's what it looks like here. Very interesting. Doesn't look too bad from a build quality perspective. Of course there's glue too, not sure what this is holding. But yeah, in general it looks not too bad what I see here. And then we have all the connections over here. Of course the glue should hold everything in there into place, I guess, when shipping or whatever. It's a sturdy housing if you ask me. So let's continue with connecting it and see how it actually works. By the way, not sure if you see it. I'm pretty sure you do. Back here is the 314 amp hour version from HomeSync. Video up there. But you can see the size difference of those two batteries. So with 4 bolts, you have a nice indoor cover, and at the end you just close it, and there you are. So now you can have the cables coming in here or from the sides, whatever you prefer. But it makes it a nice all-in-one unit. So opening this one up, you have everything in here, compact cables, everything in there, and everything else will look pretty nice. So let me connect it. So you do get a nice pair of 2-gauge wires, very nice. So I got pretty far. One thing, sadly, this one which is included in delivery, doesn't fit the bolt. It's a lot bigger, not a lot. So, is this the proper way? Absolutely not. Don't copy. Don't copy. Put a new lug on. Oh, there we are. There we are. We're able to get it over there. Okay, here we are. Everything's connected. We do have no power on the Ekrano GX. No power on here. Here's power. I mean, no, it's not. But we have power not even here. So, what we need to do, turn on the unit, turn this one on, which gives power here. There we go. And next, we should get power on this one. Somewhere. There we go. It's booting up. And in the meantime, I'll check out the settings, what we need, most likely for our Victron setup here. Oh yeah, we're discharging the battery already, so we can see here ecoworthy and the shunt, pretty synchronized, which I like. We can see voltage up front. Hello, that's me. Voltage up front, then the amperage here, and the watt which is going out. Plus we have it with ecoworthy here. We have the temperature sensor as well. Let's see, details, temperature, online, highest and lowest cell voltage. Okay. Can configure what else? Charge current limits. Yep. Well, I can definitely see a couple things here. So that is good. We have power coming in, we have power going out, we have the battery itself here. Man, this works with the Victron system out of the box. Let me summarize this really quick, because I think that is valuable really good information for everyone. Connecting a Victron Ekrano GX through the CAN port with this battery BMS CAN type B cable, and this is the battery CAN type B side. On the other side of the Ekrano, you can see it here, Victron VE.Can. That's here. You see the plug is in there as well. That's where it's connected. And then on the Ekrano itself, settings, and you can need to go to connectivity and the CAN port 2. In my case, it's CAN port 2, and I have configured here 500 kilobits. That's the information I need. It's pretty much the same like it was with the HomeSync battery in this case. So when I see devices, I can see the battery right here, and we can also see it when we go back to overview. We can see the battery here. So all you need to have right there, working out of the box. Amazing. And man, I really hope I can get my hand on a second of these to see the parallel connection, how this also ties into the entire Victron system, and just understand, hey, how does it work? So by the way, here, current going out, minus 4.5, power here in watts, 4.4-ish, so pretty accurate, nice. I love it. That's how it should be, and all being remotely monitorable. Awesome. All right, so it looks like we will connecting the app. And therefore it is on page 1 for Android and for iPhone, the apps, so please be aware of that. And for me, that means you need to, well, I did already, you have to push the add device, and then you will see a bunch of eco information here. For me it was the WM here at the end, and I also checked the MAC address, which you can find, by the way, right here on this little QR code. So that makes life easier. And then you just connect it, and here we are. When I connect it, I can see the battery 99%. I hit this one, it says 100%, nope, 99%, there we go. And it says firmware update. I'm a little bit hesitant to do that right now, so I'm not doing it now. It says charging at the moment. With details, I have no idea what's in here. We see, oh yeah, charge mass, discharge, limiting, heat mass. Does this have a heater in it? Cell information, and here you can see actually the individual cells, which is really nice, and then notification. Full charge protection, interesting, fault module pack 1, which means most likely the cell 1 was just at the high state of charge. So this is it. Let me connect some loads and see what we can do here. And in my case, I'll go into inverter, I'll say turn it on. You heard the clicking. Now I'm charging another battery from the load, and we should see an AC load coming in. There we are, so AC load, we have solar coming in here with the battery information. And we have here right now also the information. Interesting, I'm not sure if this is how it should be. I feel like my display is set wrong, I can't scroll down more. I think this entire graph should be visible, but nevertheless, here we have notifications, basic information, summary. I like the basic information because that gives you a lot here. Minimum temperature, maximum temperature, mass temperature, so protection alarm status, stuff like that. And by the way, I saw here's an emergency shutdown. I don't want to hit it now, but we can see, oh funny. So I did, oh you can also adjust inverter protocol configuration here, but I did set it to Victron, I thought. Yeah, on the can I set to Victron, yeah. But here it's saying pilot. Let's double check that really quick, because I thought I changed that. Yeah, here it is. Read. Oh, funny, it just changed it to pylon again. Why did it change it to pylon? Huh. Interesting. Let me confirm. Interesting. Okay, I set it to Victron now. So now I'm going here, read again. Okay. I think it only took it from the app. I don't know how to confirm it with this one. That's quite interesting. So far we still see that there's something going on. So we still have information here. So we'll see if we lose it. But that's pretty much it, what I want to show you right now. I'll keep testing it. I'll have a follow-up video on this pretty soon as well, because I want to test it in a different environment with more loads on it, with more pulling out, and maybe I'll be able to also do a full capacity test on that little bad boy. So stay tuned for that one. Subscribe to the channel if you want to, and of course if you like that stuff, feel free to like this video. But for now, that's it. Cheers!